the channel, everyone. Today we've got something really intense, big time stuff. I'm going to do something amazing for you. I'm going to actually teach you how to sell. I think I teach you how to sell in every video, but I'm actually just going to really dive in today, and we're going to hit this at the highest level. Look, selling isn't telling, all right? I just want you to know that. So let's jump into Module 1. Grab the pencil and paper. We're going to have some fun today, all right? Module 1, the biggest lie in accounting sales, right? And we're going to be intense, all right? So if you need to pause and rewind just to hear, what I said, then you need to do that, right? You're only affecting your future firm, their income, right? What you do today shapes tomorrow. So you got to dive in and lock in. You have to train like a lion and sell like a lamb. All right, so the biggest lie in accounting sales. Well, most accounts believe that clients hire them for what? Bookkeeping, tax preparation, payroll, QuickBooks, financial statements. This is not why business owners are buying, guys. They're buying because of the outcome. Business owners buy outcomes. You have to sell the transformation, get away from the bookkeeping, the tax, the payroll. This is what they're buying. Write this down. More profit, better cash flow, better decision making, less financial stress, more predictable growth, greater confidence. They want more freedom, guys. Business is stressful. They want more freedom. Write it down. All right? The first mindset shift every accountant must make is this, all right? Nobody wants your bookkeeping. In fact, understand this. They want what it creates. That's what they want. They want what it creates. They already know that you offer bookkeeping. They already know that you clean up books. They already know all of that, okay? They already know about tax too. Nobody wants tax planning. They just want to keep more money, right? Nobody wants financial reporting. They want certainty. They want clarity. This changes everything. The moment you stop selling accounting services and start selling business outcomes, your entire sales process changes, right? You stop sounding like a vendor. You want to start sounding like an advisor. And advisors command premium fees, all right? Let's go to Module 2, the advisor mindset. The advisor mindset. So look, for this module, it's titled the advisor mindset. Understand this, though. Most accountants enter sales calls with the wrong objective. Okay, your objective, typically, how do I get this client, right? Instead, the perspective you need to have, right, is this, and write this down. How do I understand this business? Instead of how do I get this client, internally, that's what you're thinking. You need to think, how do I understand this business, right? The difference is enormous, okay? Look, the average accountant's trying to close. Can't be doing that. You have to diagnose, right? You have to diagnose. Think about the best doctor you've ever met. They didn't immediately prescribe medication. They investigated. They asked questions. They listened. They diagnosed. Only then did they prescribe a solution. So your sales process should be identical. When you stop trying to sell and you start trying to understand, what happens is prospects immediately feel the difference. Trust increases, resistance decreases, and authority rises. All right? That's how you close deals. Let's go to Module 3. Establishing control of the conversation. Establishing control of the conversation. What does that mean, right? Before discovery begins, you must establish yourself as a guide, like a tour guide. I think that's the best way to put it. All right, not a salesperson, not a vendor, and not a service provider, but a guide, like a tour guide. I often recommend starting with something similar to this. All right, hey Janet, today I'd like to learn more about your business, understand where you are today, where you're trying to go, and identify any financial bottlenecks that may be preventing growth. Then if that makes sense, we can just discuss some possibilities and some solutions. Does that sound fair? Boom. Notice what happens, all right? The pressure disappears. The prospect relaxes. You create structure. You create professionalism. You create leadership, and people trust leaders. All right, let's go to Module 4. Let's go to Module 4. Business discovery. Okay, this is where most accountants fail. They begin discussing services before understanding the business, all right? Instead, this is what I want you to do. Guys, just spend substantial time learning about their company. Genuinely care about them. Why is that so crazy? Get out of your analytical brain and connect with somebody, right? Spend substantial time learning about them and the company. Here's some good questions for you, all right? Entitle this the Business Foundation Questions, okay? Business Foundation Questions. Tell me about your business. How long have you been operating? What inspired you to start? What products or services do you provide? How many employees do you currently have? All right, here's some growth questions for you. And make sure you're writing these down, and you have to ask them. You have to ask these to the business owner. Do you want to sell and tell, or do you want to ask good questions and make the prospect sell themselves? You got to pick, right? Do you want a lot of money or a little bit? So, growth questions. What are your goals over the next 12 months? What would success look like this year? Where do you want the business to be in 3 years? What opportunities excite you most? Leadership questions, okay? What keeps you busy each day? What challenges consume most of your attention, Janet? What responsibilities do you wish you could delegate? The objective is simple right here. Understand the business better than any accountant they've ever spoken with before. Most accountants discuss accounting. Big dogs, closing deals, discuss business. That's what you got to do. All right, let's go to Module 5, finding the gap. Guys, every sale exists because of a gap. There's a gap going on. It's their current reality, the gap is the current reality in between the desired reality. Your job is to identify the distance between those 2 points. And the questions that do that is, and write these down. Hey, where's the business today? Where do you want it to be? What is preventing you from getting there? The larger the gap becomes, the more valuable your solution becomes. For example, all right, let's say current revenue is $800,000, all right? Desired revenue is $1.5 million. We got current profit margins at 8%. Desired profit margins at 15%. Current financial visibility is poor, right? But they desire excellent financial visibility. So what I just did right there is now we have measurable gaps. So the sale becomes much easier when gaps become visible, right? Just use your common sense. You have to make them see the problems they have. Pain, gaps, whatever you want to call it, that leads us into our next module. Financial pain discovery. Okay, this is where advisors separate themselves from accounts. And when I'm saying advisors, that's just, you got to be a salesperson. It is what it is, right? You have to understand, most people in this niche and most people in the accounting firm, they identify accounting problems, right? Well, advisors, elite salespeople, identify business problems, okay? So look, here's some good questions for you. In terms of cash flow, right? How confident are you in your cash flow projections? Have you ever worried about making payroll? How often are cash shortages occurring? Then we have profitability questions. Hey, do you know your most profitable services? Do you know your least profitable services? What's your current profit margin? Here's some pricing questions for you. How often have you increased pricing? How do you determine pricing today? Tell me about that process. Talk to me about that. Walk me through that. Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. Do you believe you're charging enough, right? Decision making. Hey, how confident are you in your financial decisions? What financial information do you wish you have, right? You have to understand, every answer reveals pain. Pain creates urgency, and urgency creates pain. Urgency creates action, all right? Module 7, the 5 levels of why. Most accountants stop after one answer, right? Elite advisors continue digging. Here's what happens. Prospect. My cash flow is inconsistent. Average accountant. Hey, I got it. The elite advisor, elite salesperson says why. Prospect answers. Tell me more. Prospect answers. What impact is that having? Prospect answers. How much is that costing? Prospect answers. If nothing changes, what happens? Right? Now you've uncovered the real problem. The first answer is the first answer. It's never the first real. It's never the main issue. Okay, I can't stress that enough. Right? It stresses me out so much I can't even get it out. The first answer they give you is surface level. It's never the real issue. You have to go deeper and dig layers. You have to confirm and expand so you can better understand. So, you said that this has been a problem within your business. How long has that been going on for? Okay, and what's that been like? And how's that affecting you? That's going deeper, deeper, deeper. And then I'll find the real problem. So the 5th answer is usually the answer to how to take them down. So Module 8. You got to quantify the problem. All right, you got to quantify the problem. So what I mean by that, this is where premium fees are created. Never leave pain unquantified, right? Here's what you don't want to say. They have cash flow issues. This is what you want to say. They experience cash flow shortages 4 times annually, forcing them to delay hiring and slowing growth by approximately $150,000 annually. Well, you see the difference where one is emotional, one is measurable. Business owners make decisions when problems become measurable, right? Some questions. What is this costing annually? How much revenue is being lost? How much profit is being lost? How much time is being lost? How much stress is this creating? The bigger the measurable problem, the easier the sale. All right, it's common sense. Module 9, build the future vision. You watch my videos, hear me talk about this nonstop. It's all about the future. It's all about the future. Pain and future. Boom. That's how you do it. It's that simple. Solve the problem. Fix it with the future. So look, Module 9, build the future vision. Most accountants spend all their time discussing problems. Elite advisors discuss possibilities. Questions. Hey, if we solve this, what would that mean? If profits increased 20%, what would happen? Talk to me about that. If cash flow became predictable, how would that change the decisions? If you had complete confidence in your numbers, how would that impact growth? You have to understand, people buy futures, not your stupid spreadsheets and not your dumb reports. Okay? They buy what those reports allow them to achieve, allow them to see, and allow them to make decisions on that improve revenue, improve profit. Grow the firm. Grow the business. All right, Module 10. The advisory positioning framework. The advisory positioning framework. Guys, this is where profit and growth style advisory becomes powerful, right? Look, bookkeeping answers what happened. Tax answers what do we owe. Advisory answers what do we do next. The distinction is everything. Business owners pay more for better decisions, higher profits, greater growth, strategic guidance than they ever will for compliance work alone, right? Module 11. Look, and if you're not, you need to lock in. Give me your mind for the rest of the video. Make sure you're absorbing this. All right, you need to be tough, right? You need to get in and really dig deep and really learn what I'm teaching you right now and go and apply it, right? What's the point of watching this video if you're not going to go out and do it, right? You got to be a psycho about wanting to make money. All right, Module 11, the diagnose. Now listen, let's summarize everything you learned. All right, here's an example. Based on our conversation, I see three major opportunities. Opportunity number 1, cash flow forecasting. We've got opportunity number 2, pricing optimization. Opportunity 3, profitability tracking. This demonstrates expertise. It proves you listen. It positions you as a professional. Most accountants never do this. This is what you have to do on the conversation. You have to summarize everything you learned back to them, makes them feel heard and understood, and then speak to the outcome of your services, fixing those and providing a solution. Hey, the prescription. Kind of just nailed on this. Module 12. Title is the prescription. Hey, only now have you earned the right to discuss services. Right? Once you've diagnosed, you can give the prescription. The sequence is diagnose first, prescription second. Never reverse them, right? Present each solution tied directly to a business outcome. Not we provide monthly reporting. Dumb. Makes no sense. This is what you need to say. Monthly reporting will allow you to identify profit leaks, monitor performance, and make faster business decisions. Always connect features to outcome. All right, Module 13, selling ROI. Hey, elite advisors do not sell services. They sell return on investment. If your advisory engagement costs $1,500 per month, annual investment equals $18,000. Okay, potential outcome: $40,000 improved profitability, $20,000 tax savings, better cash flow, faster growth. Now the conversation becomes investment versus return, not cost versus price. And this is where premium fees are won. All right, Module 14, closing the darn client. And write that down, closing the darn client. This close should feel natural because if discovery was done correctly, the decision becomes obvious. Simple question, hey, based on everything we've discussed, do you believe solving these issues is important for the future of the business? If yes, would you like my help implementing the plan? It's simple, professional, advisor-oriented. No gimmicks, no pressure, no tricks. All right, it's beautiful. Hey, write this down. I'm going to actually give you my sales formula for free, right? And trust me, it's worth $1 million. And I'm being dead serious. All right, so here we go. Number 1 is establish authority. You have to get on the phone call and establish authority. You are the answer. You are the truth, and nobody else. All right, and then you have to give yourself to them. Understand the business. You have to care about them like their family, right? You have to treat them like they're your brother and your sister. To me, I feel like they are my brother and sister. I might not know them from Adam, but I'm going to treat them like I've known them my whole life. I'm going to speak to them with a familiarity like I loved them and known them my whole life. And that's how you have to connect with people. You have to make them feel heard and understood. You have to build massive rapport, build a best friend in 10 minutes, and genuinely try to see things from their perspective and feel their pain and be loving and understanding and have a lot of empathy and understand the business. You got to discover the gap, okay? So after you get out of that phase, discover the gap. How are you going to do that in report, right? All the questions I gave you. Identify financial pain. quantify the cost, create the vision, diagnose the problem, prescribe the solutions, demonstrate ROI, earn the commitment, deliver the results. Look, all you have to do is master this process, and you stop competing against other accountants, and you will become the trusted bookkeeper, tax preparer, CPA, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. You'll be the most important one in your area, right? You have to understand that if you sell this way, you'll always be paid more than anyone else. That's just the way it works. So look, if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Also, check us out at Universal Accounting Center. Been around almost 50 years.